All right, so this is kind of a part two. It's going to function as a part one. I think this part actually will frame the one that is to come. So I'm not going to give a lot of preamble now, but it'll happen in the middle of this, which kind of makes more sense than why I went a little bit longer, because I think it'll dovetail nicely. So though the progression of the spread has already happened, the setup for this is, which is now kind of aligning with what I saw initially with and kind of got into the Buffy tarot here, so Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as well as some additional cards kind of thematically setting up this scene. And right off here, we've got the Knight of Wands. That's also paired here with this Three of Stakes Dark Willow energy here. And there is this, we'll just call it like a network, right? There's this term about the sort of like these drone, and I thought it was like this drone of like, in the sky, but this is more just like, kind of monitoring folk, or, drone cult activity, or whatever that might like symbolize for you. But this network of drones, it's really just like ops, and those are just aligned with trying to create these like fear-based narratives. It's this entire structure, though, really, that is it's oppressive, and it's kind of what's being dismantled now. It's what a big part of those in the collective, or those otherwise aligned here. We're kind of fighting through and helping others fight through. There are actual like investigators that are in whatever realm. I don't exactly know the details there, but it's they're exposing a lot of hidden things. There's a lot of like a Book of Luke energy here, like nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, nothing concealed that will not be brought out into the open. I mean, this of course is like covered by the blood. Anything that's covered by the blood of Jesus, it is and that's truly like healed as a result, repentance and all that. But there's that which you've said in the dark will be heard in the daylight, which that was your like whispering quietly, it's proclaimed for the rooftops. And what's funny is like that these people are, by their own words and deeds and actions, like the ones who are they're proclaiming it about themselves, because they are, and at least in certain circles, it's what they're all about. It becomes an obsession. The greed that sort of just takes over the heart, or whatever it is, the expressions of these things, and it's the curses that were broken, the curses that are taking root or have taken root. That these people are losing their foothold with this energy here. There are key players that are positioned in really strategic vantage points. I was going to sniper shots. I don't know if they're like sniping in the spirit, or whatever it is, but it's just trust that they are waiting for the right time to strike. Just like there's mastermind energy behind all of this, and not just in a Taylor Swift kind of way, but it's almost more like the hidden agendas are surfacing, and that which was fueled. I heard like the blood of the oppressed. That seems strong, but like it was built on the house of cards. that was not sustainable, and there was an element of immorality to this. So there's selfish motives, and that which was not aligned with the higher purpose. This is a new kingdom, and a new way. There's divinity in what's being established, but that which the universe has to clear away what's there, that which was these castles made of sand and these other structures, and there's some serious darkness. Regardless of how you might feel about blood is really significant, and witchcraft and the blood of Jesus is really significant. We're in this collective, we're part of the priesthood, right? We're pleading the blood of Jesus over institutions, and that may not be your thing, but there is, and also we can probably agree that human trafficking, is bad, and the way that that fuels different empires and structures and things of that nature, and the way that there's just like so many things that are aligned with different structures and powers, and this is all part of what is being disassembled. Yes, disassembled. So yeah, there's something is being. There's a light on like selfish motives and greed and over. There's like and things that have been overdone here. So we also have the Fool. That's kind of. This ends up coupled with 4 of Chalices, which is the principle here, right? And they thought that they thought there would be no consequences. They thought that through manipulation and of their kingdom there would be no end. But there is a kingdom that has no end, but this isn't theirs, and it's the kind of thing of just like, they couldn't appreciate the value of those that they were exploiting, even genuine connections. So their betrayal was going to be inevitable. They thought there would never be consequences. They thought that they could just betray as a way of life, betray and exploit, and something that they had was so precious. And there's like a proverb of like, they're destroyed by their duplicity, right? Those are, the integrity of the upright guide them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. And so there's the unfaithfulness, as they betray others, it's their very betrayal that ends up destroying them. And it's just like, in a sense, it's a tragedy, because we aren't a sadistic people that like to see anybody hurting or that kind of thing, and especially when it's like it involves us. Like, it's their emotional detachment and like dissatisfaction, that never enough energy that created the environment for this to even happen. Because there's this energy here that we're talking about, so like, and I'll elaborate on this later, but like it's, we are, we're working for the good of all. We're not wanting to have a heart of bitterness or resentment, that kind of thing. We're in the upright. There's an integrity here, but it's kind of like Jesus can wipe the table, because that table was used to oppress others, and then it's that indignation that's not on our own behalf, which is kind of but it's for the sake of others. It's like, oh well, these over here, like, no, all of these, like, look at this was like really bad for these other people. And so that's where you can have that righteous, like, when is it okay to be mad? Like, we can be a righteous anger, because I murdered a little stuff, and it's like, well, don't let it be your countenance. So, we don't want to end up like them, or like the sort of Cain, Abel energy. But there's, this is a situation of like, there is some deep darkness here covering the earth, and we want to be the light that shines. And it's hard to be this bitter light or whatever, but sometimes we had to be that because we're among wolves, right? And we're transitioning to among friends, and we're transitioning to these we're releasing a lot of people with love and light, and we're keeping our own side of the street clean. And so Satan cannot cast out Satan kind of energy. So it's kind of like, some of you have to stay mad, because that's keeping you from letting that person back in, or whatever it is, that you can't. And remind yourself what's been done. But there's also this kind of like, we'll get to like where to heal that in our heart kind of thing. And we talked about like Satan can't cast out Satan, and also we kind of have this like Knight of Cups that's also with the two skies here, and this is like Satan cannot cast out Satan. A house divided against itself cannot stand, right? And that's why he can't cast out Satan, because he's just creating more division, and he's the one who creates division, right? And so this is like within a certain group, but it's also a microcosm of global situation and the dismantling of this network on a whole. And so this is like this little story, but this is like broad implications, because maybe this is like the root of that story, but it also is like within this like macro thing of like literally all these betrayals are betraying a betrayal. Everybody they're all selfish, right? And they're all just kind of like, no, I'm not going to tell you. And then or they're like, you've been set me up all along, or whatever it is. And so there's a place where someone really needs to just be lifted up out of there, because they wouldn't get supposed to be there anyway. But like they've been taking all their resources and whatever else, and then others are just like, there's still time to get away. And then the others like, well, you kind of made a deal with the devil, so like you've got to really call on Jesus to break that. I don't know how that works. But there's others here where it's just like, this one betrayal caused a division, and everybody's kind of picking sides. But then like, yeah, this person has been insincere and like manipulating everybody in the first place. And so there's just like, oh, you just want to hurt everybody kind of thing. And it's just like, well, I don't trust you anymore because you are so selfish, but like we kind of all are. And there's no unity. And again, the house divided against itself can't stand. And so it's creating conflict after indecision after indecision. People are switching sides. And then it creates anxiety and unrest. But like, they don't even necessarily care or know that like that's the world that they've been forcing other people to live in or to combat. And they've all, they learn to sleep at night with it, with it, whatever. But it's, because there's a charm, because there's a performance, there's a mask to all of this. A lot of these struggles have been internal. And now the mask is off for so many. And maybe you've seen it. And so there's those who were reckless, those who were misleading. This is where it's just like, there was so much deception and illusion, and so many of this like the systems were built on faulty foundations, and all the while the Lord knew like, oh well, this is the Jenga piece right here, and divine timing. And I laugh because like, but some of this is not funny at all. But it's like, all right, well, and then it's like, and there's just like these little towers that big towers, and it's just like these mass, and it's. Yeah, I'm still not the person who's like to see people get karma, because, remember the consequence or whatever. But like, it's like I know enough of my own struggles. I know when I've been shown mercy, and I want to show other people mercy, and it's just like, well, look at it, give them another chance. And God, gave Jezebel so many chances to repent, come clean, make it right, make amends, clean your side of the street, And for some of you, that is the call, and that's the big message of this channel, is to like find out where you can make your side of the street clean. But like, don't let an abuser or like whatever abuse you again, or those that are around you, or that kind of thing. So it's like, don't cloak a selfish intention in the guise of like moral righteousness. If you are writing people off just so that, because you're so mad about this other thing or whatever that you need to heal and whatever, and. Yeah, I think you know what I mean. But that's done with this Nine of Pentacles reversed, where there's like that, like if you're twisting spiritual principles to justify greed or more righteousness, I feel like there's a lot of them though. That's like, I mean, that's what the devil does. He twists the truth, right? But this Nine of Wands with the Three of Stakes here, again, is like. I mean, yeah, you have that. That's not you. I mean, the previous scenario, you have that relentless, especially in this collective, the desire for truth and to walk in the light and find the stuff that's buried. Have nothing in you. To the best of your ability. You're not a hypocrite if you want to be free. If you're like waging war on that which is like hidden in darkness and the things you struggle with, and you're like, I really don't want to be an illusion. I'm asking God to like shine the light every day. Where are the fault lines? Because that's not Isaiah 5:20. Woe to those, judgment to those who call evil good and call good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness. And that judgment is been a long time coming. I mean, we're literally talking about the kingdom of the devil. And so, yeah, I mean, this is, we're still kind of sort of like sorting out where the timeline sort of is here, but as he's like, the castles are crumbling, these narcissistic monuments to man, we're not looking to replace them with additional monument to our own ego, but we're replacing them with true faith and like functionality, and to build legacies for generations. And so, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain, those that build it, right? That's a biggie. And so, the heart of the righteous weighs its answers, the mouth of the wicked, gushes the evil. You're speaking truth to power, and you're building according to heavenly, divine blueprints, not according to materialistic desires, but according to your relentless pursuit of truth and considering your actions and answers, and your ops do this and this and this, and you respond not with the same spirit. Satan can't cast out Satan, not with the same attitude, but with the appropriate righteous answer. You can be fierce in setting up your boundaries and defending yourself, and especially for other people, but you're doing it not reactively and not matching their spirit, but with a divine forehead set like flint that's set for righteous intention and the greater good of all, and not, you have to check your heart and your own selfish intentions and like be aligned of like, I know this is for like the greater good, and I know this isn't like rooted in bitterness or resentment or overdoing it, because and there's grace for that, and there's a progression, you get better at it, but it's the belt of truth we're talking about here. So we're standing firm with that belt of truth. Page 6. Okay, so a little more on this network here. Like, there's one that's being highlighted here that is more of like an energy harvesting one, and with this Knight of Wands and Three of Stakes combo here, it's like, it's driven by personal gain, obviously, and fear and that kind of thing, but it's it's far-reaching and influence. The Sun and the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, it's like there's like another power system that they're exploiting. I don't know, maybe they call it like the patriarchy or something, but it's really just like, I don't know, there's a lot of shadowy alliances here. Yeah, so it's the Fool and Floritalis combo. So they're okay. Like, they're preying on like spiritual seekers, or like emotional. There's emotional manipulation. It could be relational or situational. There's a naivety that they're cultivating almost, and that could just be through spell work or something. Or maybe they're targeting like certain people groups, or like recovery, or those bad breakups or something. 2 Corinthians 11 is like the false workers, but spiritual vulnerabilities too. So it could be like those who people pleasers, and the version of like Christianity where it's like you don't set boundaries and you can kind of justify everything, kind of like the spiritual, because they spend so much time in the five. Ask me how I know this one. Spend so much time in the 5D or the subconscious that you can see a lot of things through rose-colored glasses, and justify, and you're projecting yourself on other people, and you're full of light. Or it's a little ego too, of like, I'm so full of light that I'll just make you full of light. Meanwhile, this person, they bound to the devil and like just like karmic or whatever, but like they were taught that wasn't a thing, or whatever. Christians can have demons or whatever. So it's those who are seeking it's like meaning or connection or meaningful connection. But they're schemers. Micah, what are those who scheme iniquity, who work out evil in their beds? So there's some romantic capacities. This might be like getting a honey trap a little bit. Even with the drones, it's about blackmail recording Russians. It's American now. They're here, but Nine of Cups, Two of Chalices combo. Yeah, and that's just a leader who's just like manipulating, using manipulation to charm and then to divide, isolate from your support system, bring you out, yeah, and pray, and then energy harvest. Probably Romans by smooth talk and flattering or flattery, they just deceive the hearts of the. We're back to that full energy with the naivety, but. Yeah, I mean, and this is kind of where I feel the heart of just like to be the advocate a little bit, because here we're calling him naive, we're calling him a fool, we're calling, and there's this like, again with the Nine of Wands and the Three of Sticks, like we're not wanting them to be overwhelmed by coordinated attacks. Like, have you seen someone who's got, right? I mean, they've fell for the phishing scheme or the whatever, the honey trap or whatever it is. There's an embarrassment, there's a shame. And that's the shame that they're like getting locked into. So there's that public, because these people, humiliation ritual, that the black thing, as these things are crumbling, whatever, tapes are coming out or whatever, and then maybe people that aren't necessarily soulless, or they're kind of in between, or they're the useful idiots, more Russian stuff. Whatever it is, the people that have been set up as a public spectacle or the ritual humiliation just over and over and over. Just like Carrie's like had like $1,700 as a blood by this time. Like she gets it. Who's still laughing and finding it entertaining? I don't know. But it's like that battle of generational curses where it's the strategic nature of like, the devil is kind of like a one trick pony. But it's like the little variation on this, a little variation. Green eggs and ham with like, whatever setup, and it's eventually just like I get it, it's like hard to watch, but like you're channeling that into like joining the accuser of brethren. It's not a good look on you. But so there's the manipulative forces are wanting to silence them because they still have a divine purpose. So if the Most High is saying that they're not disqualified, but you're saying they are, then whose side are you on? Whose work are you doing? But also when it's like, because that sun is like we're needing to separate some clarity from distortion here. Don't judge, so to be judged kind of thing, but also like exaggerated accusations. Again, Russian AI. There's this digital criminal frontier as it's used in the role of public humiliation. And it's that Jezebel spirit like mocks the king or whatever. So much is done in the name of like tearing down the patriarchy that it's like even like partnering with the devil is like now. Like, tear it down. But like, how many kingdoms can be divided against itself before nothing is standing? No, at the end of the day, there's still divine order, and there's still the righteous. At least that's like swappers though. It's like it's getting really hard to see who's who. I don't get the head covering thing, and like the wheat and the tares and the angels are getting confused. Like, who's Jacob and who's Esau? Because these people are brokenhearted, and the Lord is near to the brokenhearted. So those are genuinely like, man, I sure love to, get over these pitfalls or win these battles or whatever it is. And it's like the gang stalking is just continually. I mean, they're getting the thickest skin ever through this, but it's like it's the pain of the isolation. It's the pain of, because this is like the greatest trigger warning. Pause if that's a thing for you, but like. The greatest unaliving that happens, it's actually not whatever you probably think it is, but it is the Carrie situation. I mean, it's the, because if you have nothing can be taken from you kind of thing. The Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. But those who have and then is taken away from them that's what causes the deepest depression spirals, those kind of things. And then those when it happens on the in-person level, then it happens on a racial level, and it happens on whatever it is, the mean girl level, mean girls, like they draw their power and their energy just by like the people that they like the most, they hit the hardest kind of whatever. Like some of you have had the wisdom to like navigate all that, and like the cat's off to you. But then it goes to a digital level with online communities, and then but then they feel that that's even worse nowadays, and they go from one to one or whatever, and it's just like eventually people are like, oh, it's the pattern, it's the thing. Oh, you got caught, like how much they pay you, whatever. Like, don't worry, I won't tell anybody, And then you find out like, so who that's who's behind this, bro. And so then so you can forgive them or whatever. But just like you gotta make amends still with who you need to. But it's that the Lord is near to those who are brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And so if you are joining on the side of the, what have you, on the network, you're actually not near to the Lord. You're far from him, and you are partnering with the accuser. So you want to defend them against the spiritual attacks and defend them against the manipulative forces that are seeking to silence them. And that's from still kind of sorting out, like, well, what if they're bound to the devil or whatever? Like, when they're reprobate, I guess, like, when do you, because Judas could have still got forgiveness. 1 Kings 1, they asked for forgiveness and then got it. So you'd have to get it, to give it. If they never do, then what do you do? If they just keep gaslighting or keep attacking, because you don't want to take on their karma. So that I get it's a little bit difficult. But like anytime you're like mocking or like taking joy or telling other people to take joy in the fall of anybody, that's I don't know. I mean, when we're talking about like essay and stuff like that, or those who were trying to get people to unalive or something, like this is such a nuance, I'm not trying to get a comment war or something like that. But I've seen too many retirement homes of people that have locked hearts and locked blessings because they couldn't get over resentment and bitterness that choked out the joy of the Lord. And I don't believe that there's a trauma that the Lord can't heal, but I do believe the enemy can keep people from the resources and the connections and the right healers to do that. But I also believe that this is part of the network that's being dismantled, and there is so much healing. And now with the information age, and those are just even on YouTube that are just like, can get you to the right resources. There's the right recovery programs, and so many of them are free. That there's, I want to be a salesman for a free heart, and there might be some cases where it's just like it's too bad you can't, and it's too bad that you can't. But it's too bad. And you can. And I don't want to talk about, I want to leave the many to go after the one, but I don't want to like keep the 99 from getting their healing because they're using the excuse that the one has, who has a legitimate reason kind of thing. And then there's so many people that are like, wait, if they don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it. Fuck this. And then, you know what I mean? And then they don't get their blessing and whatever it is. And then sometimes there's just like, the Lord's going to give you a little easy pass-fail test, and then you get it. So I'm not taking anybody out of what they're supposed to get. I'm just trying to say, there's so many people are just like, who's got the best excuse? And then, me too. I need the nurse's note, right? And this is such an hour to like not have the nurse's note to be in gym class, but there's them who need it. So it's like, that's where it's like you can't make one rule for everybody. But anyway, point being, I want to defend those who are being silenced and those who are getting hit by the spiritual attacks, and remind them of the fool here with the four chalices, like the potential for these new beginnings, and acknowledge the pain of their isolation and the hopelessness that's caused by the public rejection, and get them aligned with the chosen family that is breaking out the matrix with them, breaking out this network, helping tear it down, and helping write this roadmap that we're all kind of walking here. So there's some complex spiritual traps here, and some intense energies behind this, but like the power of the Spirit is so much greater. So 54:17, Isaiah, no weapon formed against you is going to prevail. And just I would say that morning, noon, and night, like Daniel, and then you'll refute every tongue that is accusing you, those who are accusing the brethren. Even that weapon words, sometimes is that accusation, it's that smear campaign, that which is seeking to paint you in overly negative light. That's what they wants to make the spirit, for a lot of you that you're dealing with, whatever, is the mountain out of a molehill maker. Now they're using AI to do it. Now they're using just rumors, just like invented stuff, completely just like, I just wanted to be a part of the team. They were all making up stuff. I felt left out, so they did it to me too. You know what I mean? It's just like when it becomes popular to be your op, you probably are doing something right. So to the degree that they tried to humiliate you, is at the degree that you probably have some like massive calling, and they hate your light. And the gang stalking is so that you don't see your light. So it's like that's like the whole point, is so that if everybody says it, then she'll never believe that she still has a plan. Look what she did. Look at all this stuff she did. Look at her past. Look at all the different curses they put on her and all the trauma they gave her. The devil's like, yeah, now I traumatized them real good and real young. They'll never like take down my kingdom now. And it's like, and then no one will want to partner with them to, do that. And it's like, actually their partner had it worse, and like that he's been praying for her, or she's been like time jumping and keep planting little seeds here and there, and like watch this movie or read the scripture or whatever it is. And so there is this weapon is not going to prevail because we're not accusing, but we're near to the brokenhearted. We're helping save the crushed in spirit. We're reminding them that every symbol is like getting them back on the path. So we're defending them against the spiritual attacks and the manipulative forces that are seeking to silence them, because we're remembering that that's what's it's supposed to silence them. So we're not going to help silence them and get petty and take the cheap shots and whatever, like join their ops. But yeah, that faith that suffers long, that vanilla sky, every passing moment is another chance to turn it all around. And with that, we'll transition to the earlier section.